supported microfinance, enterprise microloans for the last 13 years in South Africa. I came here for the first time in 1998 when I was on my way to a conference in Harare, Zimbabwe. I had never been to South Africa, and I'd certainly never visited the townships. I did one day, and it changed my life entirely. I came back as a small business person. I've started and run my own businesses, but my background is as a corporate lawyer, as an investment banker. And I thought, why are there no businesses here? What's going on? I think I need to try to do something here, because if there's one thing I can tell you as a Canadian from Canada, we love South Africa as Canadians. We're cheering you on to such an extent. I'll never forget the day of the elections, because there were people I was meeting in the streets in Canada saying, "Yay, go South Africa!" And now, 17 years later, you have democracy, but we all need to see prosperity for everybody, not just at the top. I mean, things are going in the right direction, but we all know we need to explore opportunities at the bottom of the pyramid. So 13 years ago, I found a way to start supporting microfinance, enterprise loans to start businesses. In the Eastern Cape, I actually started in Umdansani, and we worked there for about 8 years. That organization is still going. We've supported organizations in different parts of South Africa, but our focus now is on Tetla Financial Solutions. You will meet Yvonne Radinku. She will be leading the panel on microfinance. Yvonne started and runs Tetla Financial Solutions. She started it out of her own pocket. She's absolutely committed to extending microfinance loans in this country to everybody who needs them. Tetla works and extends loans here in Khayelitsha and in other areas around Cape Town. They use the Grameen model. So we support Tetla Financial Solutions. We also support Pakamani Foundation, which works around Nelspruit. So out of that 13 years, over and over again, we were coming across the same limitations to enterprise microloans. Number one, probably anywhere in the world you want to check, maximum 20% of people are entrepreneurs. Maximum. Probably, I mean, you guys are rare who want to start a company. Most people just want a job, for heaven's sake. So how do we answer that issue? Number two, how much infrastructure, how big a business can you build when you're starting with a loan of 750 Rand? I mean, we need to involve industry and much larger investment in this. How do we do that? Number three, if you start a business in a community and the community is not engaged, as Sadie Luca was talking, if the community is not engaged and you manage to succeed, you may well end up with whack-a-mole syndrome when you're smacked down again. If the community understands the benefits of having business in it through this mobilization programs you're talking about, and we'll be talking about asset-based community development. That's why we're talking about that as a sort of a way to, if communities know the benefits of business, how it creates money, and the money moves around and creates wealth, then that's a good thing. So those are three. What was my fourth issue? I'll come back to it. Diversity. Problem of lack of diversity and lack of skills over and over again. You know, I am so privileged to have 2 university degrees and all kinds of resources, and I've started businesses, and they are so hard to do. So how can we expect people who do not have the education and do not have financial resources behind them to start them with nothing? So these are the big challenges, and yet they do. And yet you heard from Tumelo that 70% of the businesses that have under 50 employees in this country were started by people that we're going to be hearing from in the second part of this. Okay, so those are the 4 limitations on microfinance. Most people want jobs. There's a lack of skills and diversity in businesses. There's a problem, there can be often problems with whack-a-mole, people getting ahead in the community doesn't like that. And the 4th thing is entrepreneurship. I think I've got them right in my head anyway. Bear with me. So as I was going through this last 13 years, I was trying to always find out how can we make microfinance more effective. And it's 2 years ago, I was lucky enough to go to the Coady International Institute. You will meet Gord. I don't know where he is today. Oh, hi, Gord. And I went with Sebastian. This is when I met Sebastian, and I met a whole number of other people here. Where are you, Niadi? Niadi Nkuta was there as well with me. And we learned the magic of going into a community with the question, what do we have? Not what do you need? That is an enabling question when we start to look at what assets we have in a community and to use and to work with those assets to get where we need. And the community begins to understand what the benefit to the community is of supporting the businesses that are in it. And that's the first thing I learned from that. And I thought, my gosh, if we start from that basis, and we're not pushing anything into the community's pulling other resources into it instead. We're really going places. And I thought, well, so there's all these Department of Social Development, all these people who know how to do this. This is your expertise of mobilizing. A lot of organizations, a lot of NGOs have this expertise of mobilizing communities. We can use that expertise. It feeds into the next expertise, which is microfinance. The Women's Development Business is here, Coco is here, and Margaret Geary is here, and Yvonne Radinko will be here, and there are many others from that. So it feeds into when the community wants to do something or people come up with businesses that they want. There are resources in South Africa. We're going to hear in the next few days that there are gaps in the financial resources, but there are some resources already here to help those businesses get started. And we know that through BBBEE, there are also enterprise development, SED, and CSI programs that companies are looking for mobilized communities, mobilized businesses to put funding into, their investment into, that actually is going to allow them to expand markets in these communities. It's an investment, it's not a gift, it can be an investment, and there will be lots of return on that investment if they find and are connected with the right entrepreneurs in those communities. And finally, I know, and I guess we all just look around, franchising, which is the most successful business system ever created, it's new. You know, it's only 30 or 40 years old. When I was a baby lawyer, I was doing franchise contracts because it wasn't even a specialty then. 30 years later, franchising is everywhere around us. We all know the big M, but McDonald's and some of Nando's, you've got some of the best franchises. We have Nando's in Canada. These are all built on branding, systematization, replication of a profitable business. Nowhere in there does it say it has to cost you 10 million rand. Nowhere. But you do have to have branding, replication, and systematization. So there is no reason why a franchise has to cost a huge amount of money. It needs to have those three things. And then if franchises, now we're going to call them micro, because if they have those three things and they can be purchased for a reasonable amount of money that is accessible through microfinance or through other loan programs designed for that, presto, we're getting the best business brains and the best business skills put together with the entrepreneurial skills springing out of the rural areas, out of the townships, out of the poorer areas, the areas that have not had the economic advantages. So that's where this all came from. And then the last item, which wasn't around 12 years ago, when I first came here, there wasn't a cell phone in the townships. It just wasn't there. Now, there are more cell phones than there are people in this country. Everybody's connected. And cell phones can be your bank, your restocking agent, your mentor, your all these things. There's nothing, and there's a guy here, Sean DeWitt. Sean has just been working for the last, you'll hear from him at one of the plenary sessions on mobile. But Sean has rolled out, I hope I get this right, a mobile software for cell phone technology in Indonesia to a network of 2 million subscribers. That software is specifically created for micro franchises. And that was not, it's not meant to be a gift, it's not an NGO program or anything. It is a commercial program that was developed on a commercial basis. So that telecom is beginning to understand what fantastic potential there is if they support micro franchises through their cell phone networks, okay? So that sort of puts the whole picture together. So that's why all of these people are involved. All of the different sectors are involved and all focused on small business, because we're trying to figure out, well, how do we get communities to get mobilized and come up with their plans about businesses? Where do we get the funding? How do we get the CSI and the ED involved? How do we get franchising involved? It's kind of a whole continuum. And if it sounds, I hope it will make sense over the next 3 days. So that is the whole dream, that's the plan. And, whoops, I think I'm over time. I'm going to call myself out. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Harrington, who will speak from his perspective as the Executive Director of Global Entrepreneurship Monitor and at UCT, and as an entrepreneur himself. And then Sebastian is going to take the podium, and we're going to meet the business owners. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Sadie, you have a gorgeous voice. And one thing for sure that is not going to happen now is I'm going to sing, because I could clear this hall in about 30 seconds. So it was wonderful listening to you. Before I start, I'd like to say a very, very special thank you to the two main sponsors, Standard Bank, and I see them sitting over there. It's wonderful to have you. Delighted to have you down here. And of course to LegalWise, because without you, we wouldn't have been able to have this. Thank you most sincerely to both those organizations. Just for some of you, my name is Mike Harrington. I don't know why Martha keeps referring to me as this doctor, because I'm not a doctor of business or anything like that. I won't even go into that, but I am an entrepreneur. I have started a number of businesses of my own over the last 20, 25 years, ranging from cookware to cosmetics to pantyhose of all things. And then I sold it to an American organization and decided to retire. Now I can see that there are some gray hairs here, and I just want to give you some advice if you ever consider retiring, because my advice to you is don't. Because I'll never forget the first day that I actually retired, and I sat back and I said to myself, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to walk on the mountain and I'm going to go cruising. And you know, the first morning I lay in bed and I said to my wife, could I have some coffee in bed? This will be a wonderful experience. And she dutifully, we'd been married, I should have had about 35 years, 35, 36 years, and she dutifully brought me coffee. And the same thing happened again on Tuesday and Wednesday. And on Friday morning, I'll never forget, she actually sat in the end of the bed and she looked at me and she said, Michael, this is not working. I've had my independence for 30 years. Get the hell out of here and go and find yourself a job. And why I'm telling you that is because maybe it would explain why I'm at the business school, is that I decided at that stage 10 years ago to go back into the academic world, for want of a better word, and help SMMEs, because I'm absolutely passionate about that. And that's one of the reasons that I'm here today. I think we need to step back and just say to ourselves that South Africa, and Tamelo brought this up, South Africa is facing many, many challenges, there's no doubt about it. Political challenges, social challenges, economic challenges, you name it, it doesn't really matter. Africa as a whole is reshaping, it's reshaped totally over the last 10 years if you think about it. Populations are growing exponentially, economic growth has accelerated, new technologies have come out, cell phones, solar power, you name it. But what is very important is that the youth of this country and most African countries is really growing exponentially. And if one looks at the demographics of any country in Africa, it's like a triangle, and the bottom part of that triangle is occupied primarily by youth. And I see a lot of young people here today. And without getting morbid, we're sitting on a time bomb if we actually don't help those youth. Because to me, that's the most important asset of any country. SME development is absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. If one realizes or thinks about it, in South Africa alone, SMEs contribute over 40% of the GDP of this economy. More than 50% of the total working population is actually employed by SMEs. So SMEs are incredibly important. But we have a problem. And South Africa, from our studies from this Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, which is a worldwide study on entrepreneurship, South Africa has one of the highest failure rates of SMEs in the world. That may surprise you. And why? Think about it. Not in any order of importance, but lack of different ideas. We tend to have a Me Too type of mentality. If one business works there, we'll copy it and put it next door to that business. And what happens is that competition starts, and before you even know what's happened, prices come down and businesses just go out of business. There's a lack of basic business skills and financial knowledge for sure, and a lack of access to markets. You'll notice I haven't talked about money, because I don't believe that there's a lack of money in this country. In fact, we're awash with money if we have good ideas. And Martha mentioned quite rightfully that businesses like franchises are enormously successful. If you ever sit back and think about it, how many Nando's or McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chickens actually fail? Very, very few. And the reason that they don't fail is that they have a model that is workable. They have a brand that is well known. Someone comes in and says, this is how you run the business. The problem is that our youth don't have 4 or 5 million rand. Where do you find it? And that's the reason for this conference today, is that we sat back and we said to ourselves, there has to be a different way in which we can help young entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs in this country. Let's give them something that they can replicate, that is demonstrable, that works. And that is where the whole concept of micro-franchising came about. And that's what you're going to hear of much more today. So that's why I'm excited about this program. And I hope in the next 3 or 4 days that you really do enjoy yourself, because this is a worthwhile exercise. And I thank you all really for coming. I see so many familiar faces from all over the world. It's great to see you. And thank you very much indeed.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you here. It's another beautiful day in Cape Town. Does Cape Town ever have bad days? I haven't seen any. I'm Sebastian Matthews with a company called Navigant, and it's really been a pleasure to be part of this. Yesterday, I met a group of amazing entrepreneurs for the first time. I'd like to thank Leslie from Legal Wise and Helen and Leslie. There we go. Who've been working really tirelessly in identifying this group of about, how many are there? 15, 14, well, I've got a list of 14 entrepreneurs, and we got to meet them yesterday, and it was really exciting. If you open up this brochure in your folders, there's a whole lot of case studies about each of them. And what we'd like to do, without further ado, is actually call them forward, because really, as Marta said, this is their show, right? We're here to support them and see how they can create businesses in communities across South Africa. Sadi, I'm not going to sing, but I was really, again, just want to support Mike. That was awesome. So that was really cool. Can I call all the entrepreneurs forward? And if you could, is it okay? Okay, what I'm going to do is ask them very quickly to just tell you their name and kind of a one-liner about their business. And over the next 3 days, you'll be getting to know them in more detail. And then I'm going to call out 5 of them to just share what their experiences or what their expectations are for the next 3 days. And then hopefully we can try and meet them. So I'm going to start with Paulus, who's an amazing guy. What Leslie said is that he won the LegalWise business competition in 2010. Okay, so this is the youngest person in the group. And I mean, seriously, when you hear, when you read his story, I'm going to let them speak for themselves, but I wanted to start with Paulus, is read his story, and it's just heartwarming. He can trace his ancestry all the way back to Jan van Riebeck's boat, which I was like, wow, that is amazing. So it's in here. Go.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paulus Gertse. I'm from Namaqualand. And one of my greatest achievements is the invention and development of a unique product made of the Namaqualand kraalbos. This bush is a weed growing all over the Namaqualand area. The products known as Granny's Yellow Magic products are the first of its kind and a real best seller. Products already on the shelves are painkiller and ointment with which relieve pain in minutes. Skin cream for skin problems like a dry skin. Oil treatment to make the driest hair soft and shiny and remove dandruff. Insect killer, mainly for killing creeping insects. Very important to say is that the secret of Yellow Magic products lays in the process of mixing to obtain the best results. I want to give you a message, to tell you a story. I believe every one of you know well. And that's the story many years ago in the far history of the whole world. A man called Peter, he was a fisherman, and others, fishermen, was busy to fishing. But although they do his best, he catch no fish. And then another man came. His name is Jesus. And Jesus said to Peter, Peter, go out to the deep water. There you will find plenty of fish. And then Peter and his friends go to the deep water, and it was so.
My name's Nathan. I am working with Siyabonga Africa. We currently set up small-scale poultry farms in the rural areas, and we do it on behalf of corporate sponsorships, and we do work in partnership with the government as well in Gauteng. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was quick.
Hi, my name is Roxanne Yanikos. I work with Siyabonga Africa. We currently set up bakery projects on behalf of corporate sponsors as well as the Department of Social Development. We believe in giving a hand up and not a hand out. We have over 300 bakeries. They're in every single province in a variety of different circumstances, from rural mud huts in KwaZulu-Natal to private schools in the northern suburbs of Johannesburg. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Rian Chalmers. I'm number 15. I don't see my name on the list. But anyway, we do overcome adversity. I'm in the cellular business, and what we do is we empower street vendors to earn a living out of selling cellular products, Rika, and airtime. And we're a 3-year-old business. We've got 4,500 street vendors that we estimate are earning about 300 Rand a month, and we want to try and get that to 1,000 Rand.
Morning, everybody. My name is Henk Duplessis. I'm from a company called EduBlocks. Our passion is to help children who struggle to read and to learn, and to develop them, to help them to read, to learn, and to achieve. So at the moment, we've got 9 reading centers or clinics all over the country, and we use cognitive development programs to get them up to speed and back to mainstream education. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Motlalipula Morweng. I'm from Northwest in Zerast, right next to Lubati in the homeland called Khopani. My work, I produce soap. My company's name is Matsidi Soap Production because I'm Tsidi's mother. That's why they call me Matsidi. And on top of that, we have opened the cooperative with other 4 women called Maswatane Primary Cooperative, which is making from packaging, sales, and everything. Matsidi's only manufacturing. And I'm glad to see young people here. I'm a techno mama. I want to see techno girls. The woman from Sawen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning, my name is Rian Gous. I'm from Wiesantec in Nelspruit. Our main business is solar cell phone charging technology for rural areas. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It is still morning. My name's Roger Bulgin, and I'm a co-director of a company, Mr. Power. We manufacture a range of very affordable electricity-saving products, and I think with Eskom's recent history, it's a range that everybody can use, no matter what the background. And I look forward to speaking to some of you later. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Eileen de Jager. I'm from a company called Crime Scene Cleanups. When we talk about crime scene cleanups, we mean trauma. And we are trying our best. Our vision is to clear or to help all communities in South Africa being safe and getting rid of their trauma. Thanks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Damien Adsets. I'm from Johannesburg, and I represent a company called Phalanx Logistics and Risk Management. There's 2 of us in the company. Unfortunately, my partner couldn't join us, Mr. Gladler. We're both serving members in the South African National Defence Force Reserve. And our idea behind Phalanx, well, first, let me start. What is a phalanx? A phalanx, loose definition, is a body of people in a formation banded together to achieve a common goal or purpose. And our purpose is to provide holistic risk management solutions tailor-made to the client's needs. And what makes us unique is that we really care about people. We care about our guards, we care about our employees, we pay them a little bit more, we take them seriously, we don't treat them like disposable assets or consumables. We treat them like human beings, and that's where our strength comes from. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. My name is Tanya. I'm from a company called Grow Learning and a company called Toddler's Warehouse. We basically supply classrooms in a box, ages 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and then grade R. It's quite a simple concept where we give you the lesson plans, the resources. All you need is your teacher or your community lady that's able to read, and the equipment, and then the children and the furniture. So the rest they can do themselves. Okay, so we can teach them to clean up.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Basil Manganadelis. I'm from a business called Walk-in 25. We're essentially a community development business. We work in townships, rural areas, in the retail and wholesale market. And I'd really like to network and meet as many people as possible today, unfortunately only. And specifically the people of Kailicha, if I could meet with you and the business leaders. We really want to get involved in the areas around Cape Town. So I'm really looking forward to today. Thank you very much.
Hello. Ayoba. My name is Lebu Malepa. I'm the owner of Lebu Soweto Backpackers and the Soweto Bicycle Tour. This is a project that I started in 1998. After finished school, didn't know what to do, just loitering in the township. And then I started spotting buses loaded with tourists coming into the township. And I was too much complaining and say, here are these people coming to see how poor we are. But as that happened, I saw an opportunity where I started a campaign which was called Get Out the Car. So get them out of the buses to our community to meet the people. And from there, that's when I started using my grandparents' house to invite tourists for overnight. That was in 2003 when I started the Soweto Backpackers. And then in 2005, I started the Soweto Bicycle Tours. And currently I'm starting many other projects to try and get tourists out of the buses into our communities. And through that, we can create jobs. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Dion Venter. I am the Managing Director for BikeFin. BikeFin is probably the only asset-based financier in South Africa to finance smaller commuter motorcycles into all levels of society. And hence our vision, financing everyone's freedom to move. We're here over the next 3 days not only to present something here, but I think more to learn from you guys. We have a dream together with Honda and together with LegalWise to establish micro and smaller and bigger dealerships into communities to achieve our dream, which is to mobilize the nation. And hopefully we can learn from you guys what the model should look like. So we're not actually here to present a complete model. I think we're going to learn from you people what it should look like. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kabelo Kale. I'm from a company called Keys Communications. We are township media specialists. Basically what we do, we give you access to the townships. We've got a wide array of products that we use, particularly our wall murals. We've got a saying that we are growth specialists because what we do, a whole lot of companies like Professor Simpson at the UCT will tell you as well, is that a whole lot of companies that want to grow go, to the townships. That's where the bankable market is. That's where, non-stagnation is. But another thing that we do as well, we've got a saying, and I'm talking to 14+1 of all the business owners here, that if it's not township, it's not us. And if you are not using us, you are not in the townships. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Pollock. We've got a business called Green Energy, and it says what it is. My wife has a guest house, and I've taken her guest house 50% off the grid. We have an offshoot of that called Power Saver. The back of the hall on the right before we go up the stairs, you'll see the kind of things that we do. 2 partners are with us here today, and we also have some new technology which enables tablets, computers, to be charged via our solar system, which means we can cross into areas that no one's got to before. Education. I think Sean DeWitt's here with a software for cell phones, we can keep that cell phone alive 24/7. And we look forward to popping across to see us. Andy Barnick, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pranesh Rambarat. I'm from Legends Sports Bar, Legends Indoor Soccer Arena, out there in Johannesburg, Randburg, better known as Gauteng. Reason why I'm here is to market Legends on a whole, as well as Little Legends. Loss of thought, sorry. What I'm going to do is, sorry about that, Sebastian, I'm just going to jump into the expectation, and I'd like to hand over to Rafik. Thanks.
Thanks. I know we don't have much time. My name is Rafik Assam. Just a quick background about myself. I played professional football for almost 13 years. I'm in the process of completing my sports science degree. Myself and Jeremy Seattle run the Little Legends Foundation. The foundation integrates underprivileged kids with privileged kids through sport. And obviously we do life skill coaching, feeding. We play on an artificial turf, which is AstroTurf. So the only way we're going to get these kids to come into our arena is say, hey guys, we have football, but we have life skills. Just thank you.
Expectation that they have for the next 3 days. I'm going to ask Lebo, where are you, Lebo? And Roxanne, if the two of you could just share your one key expectation that you'd like to get out of the 3 days.
Hey, the mic likes me, man. I'm here to see how I can grow my business, but more than that, also to come and learn and share with everybody that's here, and see what we could do in this part of town, and hopefully we could grow many levels or other people's businesses through my business, or what we could put together, all of us together here. Thank you.
You took my speech. Hi. I think Nathan and I are here today and for the next few days, mostly to learn, to see what is being done in the communities besides the work that we do, what else is being done, to learn more about the micro-franchising concept, which is a new concept to us, and to see what we can contribute and assist with the war on poverty.
Thank you. Good morning again, everybody. A quick couple of thank yous, if you don't mind. First of all, to Jayshree, to Koko. Without you, I wouldn't be here this morning. To Martha, well done. It takes a foreigner to bring us all together, huh? You may sometimes have to step back and realize what you've got. It's actually incredible. Thanks, Martha. And then also a special thank you, if I may, to the DTI, and in particular, Mr. Donald Mabusela. He's been part of our model for the last 3 years. And I heard the frustration in Andrew's voice when he asked the question earlier about how can government help us? And I think our business today is the living proof of the help that we've had from government, continuous support. And I'd like to reassure anybody out there that is looking for help, the DTI has really, really come to our help and our aid, and I think we're going to go a long way together. Thank you. I hope you can all see the screen and it's bright enough. And I've put up our banner over here, and I know there's a lot of cliches. People will read this and think, oh yes, we've heard this all before. But this is what we are trying to address, and we really and truly believe that we do in some way address the issues that we've put on this banner today. And I'd like to share with you what we do. May I introduce to you Ronnie Sarkin, my partner, if you don't mind standing, Ronnie. He had a lock of black hair when I met him 2 years ago. I've drained him of all his cash. He was retired and wealthy. He's now poor and employed. I'd like to introduce you to Belinda, my right-hand lady, person. Belinda helps me in the community development, and I think it's important that people also just please take down her details today, because we are really here to help you. We want to help people. Our job is to help. Although we're a business, we have to make a living out of profits that we make, but we really and sincerely would like to help as many of you as we possibly can. I think today already Belinda has met the mama that's making the soap. She didn't know how to get a grant. We're going to help her to do that. I can already see benefits from people that I've met in a very short space of time in the last couple of hours, and I think it's really tremendous what Martha has done here. But let me kick off. I've been threatened with time. So first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Walk In 25. And as a second banner underneath that, we have our mini market concept. Walk In 25 is a name given to suggest that we are with you for 25 hours a day, specifically in the retail and wholesale markets. That's a model we're going to discuss today. Although we believe it's a solution to create across the board the second economy, a solution to empower people. Predominantly our focus for this morning will be on how can we help street vendors, how do we help spaza shop owners, which we would like to call mini markets. A lot of people, specifically in Soweto where we are based, there may be a bit of a derogatory term with the word spaza shop. We've tried to be sensitive as far as that is concerned, so we've used the word mini markets. We also address the needs of the township and rural supermarkets, distribution centers, as well as hybrids, which are essentially a combination of supermarkets and a distribution center. Our business philosophy is what I'd like to discuss with you, and as we've mentioned before, we establish retail and wholesale businesses through the model of cooperatives. The cooperative is the legal entity that we are focused on. We believe it brings people together, it makes people cooperate, and it's broad-based. We can essentially, through the cooperative, reach communities on a far larger scale. Our aim, although we are based in Soweto and in Pretoria at the moment, is to be regional as well as national, and we do need and we do get the assistance of government incentive schemes, predominantly the DTI. I hope to also now learn from what we can get from the social side as well, but including LIPSA in Limpopo, we work very closely with them. We have got a rural model that we're also very excited about. Imperative to our philosophy is that our cooperatives and the businesses must be community-based. And they have to be situated within the communities that we are assisting. It's no use being on the fringes or in the first world areas of a CBD. We have to be in the townships and in the rural areas where our customer base is. But also important, we need to meet the aspirations of the customer base. We believe that the days gone by where people just accepted whatever was offered to them is days gone by. We have to upgrade, not just in the look and feel of the business, but in technology. And it's critical that people's dignity and aspirations are met. And this also goes hand in hand with the operating procedures of the business. This is a street vendor, and I think everybody that's been to any township will see that and understand that's what we are used to. That's what people are accepting. It's a big challenge. And if I take a fruit and veg vendor as an example, when that person and that business person goes and buys his item of fruit and veg, he is as caring in the way he picks his product as the pick and pay buyer does. However, the man or woman from Pick and Pay takes his fruit to a controlled environment. He puts it in a fridge, and that product can probably last for 3 or 4 or 5 days. The street vendor also chooses the best product. Unfortunately, he's in a hostile environment. If it rains, his product gets wet. If it's hot, it rots. So it's extremely difficult for him to remain competitive. And what we are suggesting and what we are doing is we would like to develop from there to, as a first step towards this example over here, where we've created at least 4 similar looking poles with a proper cover and a proper shelter over the stall, to give it a degree of protection. But where our model is moving to rather rapidly is to something of that nature. It's a first world solution, and we hope that if you, and I take it many people may have traveled around the world, if you go to the largest cities, especially in Europe, you'll find street vendors. They sell everything from postcards to newspapers, fruit and veg, cold drinks, etc. Those are middle class people. They've developed into the middle class. Their children go to university from the proceeds of that business. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to take the individual that's selling his wares on a table, upgrade them to an extent where they can make more money and have a product and a service that meets the standards of his customer. This is a typical spaza store. It may be a bit light, but I hope you can identify with what's going on over there. Again, typically in the townships, this is what we are used to. I must say that at least it shows a well-stocked spaza store, but you can see there's really no merchandising standards. And again, we can understand it. If you take the history of the township owner or the township business person, they've never had access to capital, they haven't had access to banks, they haven't had access to training, they haven't had access to the suppliers. It's been a hard road for those business people to, and somehow, even survive today. With our model, we're hoping that from the stage that I showed you over there, we can develop into something like that. This is an existing store in Orlando East, and those are the merchandising standards that we have implemented from a spaza point of view, and the following is what we've implemented in a township supermarket. Townships being barren. If one goes back into the history of most townships, during the apartheid era, little shops were the only avenue people had to buy basic needs. Bread, milk, etc. Unfortunately, because of the shortcomings that they had, it forced most of the community out of the townships. People were forced to go and spend up to 90% of the income that they earned outside the areas where they lived. This again, and I think Martha, having come to a township, saw that. She saw, why is there no business here? And that has now created an economic desert. There is no velocity of money. There's nothing that's happening in these areas. And it's critical that people have money turning over in townships and in rural areas. And that is another issue that our model hopes to focus on. If it can do that, money retains in the area, and it can create jobs, transfer skills, and alleviate poverty. We've seen malls spring up all over the townships. That's a facade. What is a mall? A mall is a business with stock exchange listed companies. At the end of the day, the money earned goes out. Nothing remains behind. And on top of that, we focused in the townships now as well with an influx of foreign people that have come in, taken over business, including Walmart. Americans have arrived on our doorstep. Big challenges that are faced by the very smallest of business people in the townships today. Part of our model, and this is what we do as a business, we call ourselves a PPP, private-public partnership. We are the private element, government being the public element, and the community the third element. What we do as a team, we do the business side of the model. We are hoping that through our intervention, we can produce the sustainability of the model. And one of the things that we do is we bring all the buying together of all of the businesses that we support and are under the Walk in 25 umbrella. It's basically a big buying group that we create together with the administrative functions of the supermarkets and DCs that we set up.
I'd like to quickly just discuss with you our business principles. Again, the outlets, whether it's a street vendor, a supermarket, or a spaza store owner, has to be located in easy access of its customer base. Critically, it must have a first owner and a spaza shop owner. This is what we do with the grants. First of all, in a typical shop, we will give each and every one of these stores a freezer. It's a sliding freezer, a sliding top glass freezer that the spaza store owner can use for frozen chicken and meat. This has always been a challenge to spaza shop owners in the past because they never had proper distribution to their stores. If they had to go and fetch the stock themselves, invariably they'd have to put the frozen chicken in the boot of their car. If they live too far, it gets there, it's frozen. The product already starts deteriorating. With our logistical support through the co-ops, one of the vehicles will have a proper frozen canopy so that when the product gets to the store, it's in prime condition following all the health regulations of the cold chain. Secondly, and equally, we note a big challenge in the townships with even just a simple thing like cold drinks. Coca-Cola will supply anyone that wants one with an upright chiller, but you don't dare put anything else in their subject except for Coca-Cola. You do that, it's a 10-year prison sentence, okay? We put in a chiller into the stores. It's there for any other cold drink, any perishables, bolognas, cheeses, dairy products, etc. We put in a full computer system. It's a point-of-sale system, barcode scanning, printers, technologically advanced to bring the spaza shop owner up to date with technology where it is today. We've invested in excess of R500,000 into a computer system to focus on the ordering of the spaza stores. When the shopkeeper at the end of the day cashes up, they can push a button, it will tell them through a list on the screen exactly what they sold that day. 5 bags of mielie meal, 10 candles, 3 baked beans. They then have the ability to manipulate that to be the replenishment order for the next day. If they wish to add baked beans, they can deduct, they can do as they wish. And this is then emailed, everything again technologically driven to our distribution center, and it's responded to at night where the picking is done and the next day the order is received. Next, and this is the booster, we understand the trials and tribulations that everyone has gone through. We've chosen in Soweto, we chose the guy that had the least amount of stock. Part of the grant we use then is to give up to 15,000 rands worth of stock to that spaza store owner. It sounds a lot, it's not a lot. It only really covers the 200 basic essentials that people need in their households every day. It's a very limited range, but it's at least a start, and it can hopefully complement that, or the equity, as people called it earlier, of what the spaza store owner may have in his shop already. What we want to then also add to this is painting of the store, lighting, as well as a nice little bulkhead. It gives the store a bit of a wow factor. We want the consumer, when he walks into that store after the rebranding and re-upliftment of the store, to say, wow, what happened to this place? Something certainly happened here. And hopefully it remains this way. Now again, I've got to keep on going back to Kuzunzela in Orlando East. The gentleman concerned in our pilot has had his store now for roughly 3 or 4 months. And without training, without any basic skills, he has managed to keep that shop looking in the same pristine condition. He's had a fire, he's had all sorts of challenges. It looks like a gem. And it makes us even more excited because very shortly we are opening another 42, hopefully within the next month in Soweto. We're opening up 100 in Attridgeville. In fact, Soweto will grow to 500 before hopefully 6 months is out. We've got 2 projects in rural Limpopo. And where we want to get to is where we create a link between the soap. The mama from the northwest that makes the soap must be sold in our stores. We are talking now to Coco and WDB, where we're creating a factory for juice manufacturing, and we must be the outlets. The stores must be the outlets. The furniture, the funerals, the stokvels must feel that they can buy in a store that they have ownership to. Part of our supermarket scheme allows members of the community that buy at the supermarket to share in the profits of the supermarket through the loyalty scheme. Thereby, they get a feeling of ownership, and they must come to that store for their requirements, for their funeral requirements, for their stokvel requirements. And it's essential that eventually farmers are producing maize to be sold in the Walk-in 25 stores. The soap, we want the soap. We must be the avenue for the soap. And that must go across the whole spectrum of the retail and wholesale sector, if that answers the question. To Roxanne, and clearly to Tumelo, what he said, we are just, we are not here to replace direct access to the DTI. Please, I didn't want to make that point at all. But what the package costs, a DTI grant at the moment is roughly 350,000 Rand. But what we have done is we have packaged 7 Spaza stores into one co-op so that they each get 50,000 Rand for what you've seen there today. So each Spaza store owner gets the equivalent of 50,000 Rand packaged into the computers, the stock, the fridges, the freezers, the branding, the painting, and everything else. And the DTI also does not have endless money. They've also got their budgets. They have to also sparingly give it out as they do have. We have worked with LIPSA in Limpopo Business Support Agency. But we really need help from as many sectors as possible. Wherever people can help with funding, we do need funding. WDB, I believe, will be helping us with funding. So it's not just one source. We need to go wherever we can possibly look for help. And finally, to the gentleman, in terms of the terms and conditions, unfortunately, yes, but that's part of life at the moment. There are terms and conditions. As things have started off at the moment, in terms of our model, we would like to assist shop owners that have an existing business. They are the ones that we believe have come through all the trials and tribulations of history. They started off as being the only people that were able to help. Now they're being knocked from left, right, and center. We need to give those people the booster first. We also would like to, if we could, prefer to assist those businesses that are in proper structures, even if it's just a garage. We are not, it's a personal issue. I'm a little bit against the containerization of townships. We don't see containers in Sandton City. I don't know why we've got to see containers in townships. But if we can, we try and help people that are already existing, are entrepreneurs already, are trying to make it, have had hardship, and we just want to try and come in and give them a booster. But it's not as difficult as you think. I promise you, it's not really as difficult. Thank you.
Before we go, Helen, could you please come and help? At between 1 and 2, free time, lunch is served. It's going to be terrific. After lunch, right sharp at 2, we have table assignments. You'll see a map as you go up the stairs for where the tables are. And then Helen is going to tell you which businesses are at which table. She's going to read them off quickly now. And if you don't catch it before we adjourn in 2 minutes, you can ask her. And you will also post the signs there on the red signage as you go up the stairs. Thanks, Helen.
Okay, I'm giving everyone their table assignments. Please listen carefully. I'm a teacher. I'm saying it once. Okay, and please bear with me if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Table 1, we have Siyabonga, both Nathan and Roxanne. The facilitator is Sebastian, and the scribe is Sianda. They will be joined by Thomas Chauke, Madison Eyre, and Kathy Alberts. Table 2 is Keys Communication. Facilitator is Bernie Dolly. Scribe Honor Tofile, assisted by Lumka, and they will be joined by Martha Deacon and Ben Cronier. Table 3 is Legends. The facilitator is Corne Tiernison. The scribe is Lucky Diani, and they'll be joined by Tony Fornali, Stefan Cronier, and Errol Gardner. Table 4, Granny's Yellow Magic. Their facilitator is, bear with me, Male Tlotlo, I hope, Nyenye, and the scribe is Azola, Maniti, and Zianda. Okay, they'll be joined by Rose Dodd and Mark Glanville. Table 5, Grow Learning. Your facilitator is Mumtaz Asmal, and your scribe is Judith Maliwa, and Noluvuyo will assist. They'll be joined by Jiri, I only have a surname, I'm sorry, and Sydney Khadebe. Right. Table 6, Crime Scene Cleanup. Your facilitator is Juliet, or at least you'll be joined by Juliet Matabila. Your facilitator is Madondo, and the scribe is Setu Ketse, and Leslie Haynes will join you at your table. Table 7, Phalanx. Your facilitator is Nyadi Nkuta. Your scribe is Sipo Mtendele. You'll be joined by Stephen Nkatnati and Bongani Luchele from Standard Bank, I think it is. Okay, table 8. We have Lebo's Bicycle Tours. Your facilitator is Melissa Eli, and your scribe is Madisi Lutuli. You'll be joined by Tabiso Ramasika and Mamorena Madisha. Right. Table 9. Solar, or at least Mr. Power and V Suntech will be sharing a table. Your facilitator is Claire Beesman-Simons. Now this one's a challenge. Your scribe is Nombi Kaise Zichina, and you'll be joined by Gabriel Makonza, I'm sure it is, Egbert Vessels, and Gabriel Rapazza. Mr. Power, you're at table 10 with Gord Cunningham and Makaziwe Mbagenge, I think. Ashley Wheaton will join you, and Nomsa Masuku. And then table 11 is EduBlocks with Bennett Mtwisha, and Melissa and Yaksa is your scribe. Mark Tucker will join you, Margaret Gabriel, Harry Akama, Cynthia Ngijima. Table 12, Machidi Soap will be facilitated by Koko Kujo, and your scribe is Portia. You'll be joined by Joanna Hendricks and, this is a different, Mojalefa Mohoto. And table 13 is Honda Scooterize, and you will be facilitated by Msabizi Mavuya, and your scribe is Mabalwa Ngwandi, and you'll be joined by Jayashri Padiachi and Sean DeWitt. I think you've been asked to float because you're the only mobile specialist here, so I'm afraid you're a balloon today. And I think that's it. If you haven't been assigned to a table, please come to me, because we are short some in certain specialities, and I will just assign you to a specific table so that we aren't oversubscribed from one